Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Yana Kasperczak coming into your life from Ontario as your spiritual awakening core energy coach. It is my soul's purpose to help you get your shit together so you can break free from that mental prison that you find yourself in, as we all humans do. Get trapped in that head of ours so you can build a life and or business that you're not only proud of but are excited to wake up to every single day, no matter what is happening in your life, no matter how misguided you might feel, or lost or disoriented you might feel, because life provides those opportunities for us by ripping the rug underneath our feet, and where we fall down and sometimes struggle to get back up. But my favorite motivational speaker, Les Brown, would say that when you fall down on your back. If you can look up, you can get up. So when you fall, make sure you fall back on your back, so you can look up, you can see, and you can get up. Because it's easier to get up when we're looking up and seeing everything, versus when we fall down and all we see is this one thing that we are going through, this one thing that we're growing through, the one thing that we're dealing with. It makes it almost impossible to see beyond it. So today's topic that I have for you all is life beyond the veil. Finding meaning and purpose in life as we are living our life while we're here, and not waiting to live our life, not waiting to enjoy our life. And it really does start with something that you already know, and that is figure out what is it that you like and enjoy doing for you. What are the things that you are curious about? You yourself are curious about for you. I like to talk about rabbit holes. So think about what are some of these rabbit holes that you want to go and explore. I want to go check out. I want to dive into. This is where you will find yourself. Ask yourself, what do you do every single day that you enjoy, and it helps you to feel and be present in the moment? And then if you also want to explore the other side, because the other side is fun to explore as well, because it helps you to understand who you're being and not necessarily who you are. And that is, what are the things that you do that you feel like you have to, that don't bring you joy, that don't bring you happiness, that cause you to maybe want to run and scream or escape. But I always encourage everyone to focus on the positive, on the good side, and because all the other things, they're really easy to identify. But if you're struggling to see the positive, then start with that negative. Identify what are the things that you don't enjoy doing, and then you can even do it like as a column, the things that you don't enjoy doing, and then what are the things that you do enjoy doing, and on the opposite side of the page, write those things down. Maybe you can have, when you open your notebook and you have the 2 pages on one page, so that way you have that space to write, and not one page, that you have the things that you don't enjoy doing, and on the other page you're going to write down all the things that you do enjoy doing, which is the opposite of what you don't enjoy. If you don't enjoy this, what would you do instead? Or if there's part of you that does enjoy doing it, or because certain things that you have to do, but you're not enjoying them, how would you do those things in new ways that would help you to feel not only present, but help you to feel the joy in the process, because the things that we often do as mothers, we have to do, but we don't enjoy them. So how can we bring a little bit of fun and play? How can we bring a little bit of joy into it and enjoy doing those things that we typically don't enjoy? Often it will come down to the mindset of how you view and perceive things, how you think, because the one thing that can and does destroy us and takes life out of us is our thoughts. And the one thing that can help and transform our life is our thoughts, because our thoughts create our present state of feeling and emotion and existence. So if you don't like your life, your business, the things that you're doing, check your thoughts. Become more present of yourself in the moment and see who you are being via your thoughts, and change them to the ones that feel better without lying to yourself. Being honest and authentic with yourself. We're all here in our meat suits, living our life mostly as zombies. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to that state of being, state of living like a zombie? And if you can relate to that, I would love to hear, how does it make you feel? How do those days when you are just getting through the day and feeling like you are a zombie, how do they feel? How excited are you to live that type of an existence, that type of life over and over and over and over again? And what would be the opposite for you? See, I lived, I would say, a lot of my life as a zombie, feeling dissatisfied, unhappy, annoyed, irritated, displeased, feeling like I had to do things. And I started to realize that how much I couldn't stand negativity around me, and how everybody else's negativity around me became me, how I became those people that were negative in my life. And I wasn't even aware that they were negative, because I was just keeping up with the conversation, being nice and polite, the good girl that I was, and I still am, by the way, just in ways that suit me and feel right and authentic to me. And I redefined what good girl means and looks and sounds like to me, how she expresses herself. Now, and I continue to do that, because I feel like for the most part, it would be a lifelong process, because I continue to grow and evolve, and certain things change and become something different than they were previously in my life. And little by little, changing myself. Give me 1 second. I just want to open the group and the video so I can see the comments, because I'm sure they're there. But once again, the Facebook does not show me all the comments on my phone. Yeah, there we go. There are the comments. Good morning, Rebecca. Hey, Kelly, to you as well. Rebecca says, oh girl, yes, great inspiration. Kelly says, crystals. That's a good one. I love crystals. Driving. I love driving too. Spending time with grandkids. Don't have those yet, but, and I want to say I'm looking forward to them, but at the same time, my oldest is only 14, so I am not going to rush the process. So, negativity, this was a very interesting part of my awakening, to be quite honest, because I wasn't even aware of not only how negative I was and became because of all the people who were around me, but how I played in to that game and into those conversations for a sheer fear, or a fact of a fear that I was just scared to be alone and not to have any friends. And in the end, I will tell you that none of those people that I, for some reason, wanted to be friends with, I would even want to be friends with to this day, for many different reasons. Just one being the negativity, and the other one being a lot of gossip. And that's a different type of negativity, and how it was just draining, because my character, my personality is to see the good in all, which was, everything has good and bad, right? So the downside of that was that I would see the good in people who had ill intent, and I would forgive and forget, and I would let them back into my life only to be used again and again and again, which felt like abuse. So, okay, so let's go over, I have a couple of notes here. Actually, this topic, the reason why I want to talk about finding meaning and purpose in our life now, as many of you continue to search that, and talking about, understanding that life beyond the veil is, as many of you know, of the recent passing of my cat, who was a chosen soul family. And it's something hard to explain, the experience of one moment someone is alive and they're here, and then the very next moment it is just the body, and knowing that that soul has moved on to a different type of life and existence and went home, but it's still, I'm here left as a human being who has access to all feelings and emotions, and I can't leave those emotions behind until I learn from them, until I allow them to exist and understand them, right? Which is the learning from them. Because grief is a real thing. Just because I know and I understand that there is life after death, but it's just in a different way, and that death is not the end, does not mean it takes a pain away and it takes a grief away. It helps me to understand and helps me to continue to learn from it. And I know that all of us have had experience with life and death. All of us are living and we experience the death of those that we care and love. And each one is meant to teach us a lot. And the lessons that we learn are going to be a little bit different from each other. So feel free to share what you have learned from your experiences, because by you sharing, I get to learn as well. And everybody else who's checking out this video later on the replay in the group will learn from your experiences as well. So this is what really brought on this topic for today, talking about the veil and how thin it is, and yet for most people it's unreachable, and yet it is very thin. And we're all able to sense beyond the veil. We're all able to see and hear, and in a way visit and allow them to come and visit us as well. And this is where I will encourage you to pay attention to your dreams. Because when you're dreaming, when you're sleeping, you are wide open. And many of you have experienced dreams in ways that you sometimes can't even explain, and then you wake up with certain feelings and emotions that you were somewhere else. And you get to learn from your dreams that help you in the present moment. So when it comes to finding meaning or purpose of your life, in your life, while you're living, your dreams can help you. Your dreams are powerful guides, and they were always meant to be. You just never learned how to use them, how to use that part of you. And it comes to, like, if you're, one thing I hear very often from women is that I don't remember my dreams, and I don't know how to decipher them, how to understand them. So number one, if you don't remember your dreams, by simply trying to remember and trying to think of what you dreamt about, will actually strengthen the muscle of memory, of memorizing and remembering your dreams by simply trying. So keep trying to remember your dreams, and before you know it, you will be able to recall them like this. And there's certain parts of your dreams that will be just the loudest, and the way how you decipher them is actually quite simple. Go on Google, find dream dictionary that feels and resonates with you, and keep going to that same dream dictionary. Usually they're alphabetical, and you go and you put in the word that, whether it's a thing or a feeling that you felt in your dream, go and look it up and try to help yourself to understand what was the meaning of that experience, of that feeling or that thing that you saw in your dream. And the more you do that, the easier it will become. It's like strengthening your muscles. It's like you going to the gym. The first time you go to the gym, it's going to be, you might be able to lift, let's say, 20 pounds, right? But the goal for you is to lift 100 pounds. And in order for you to get to 100 pounds, you got to first start with what you can handle. You need to start believing that you can lift 20 pounds very easy and effortlessly. And then little by little, you'll be able to lift 25, 30, 50, and then to 100. But it takes practice. Not only believing, but building that muscle, that resistance. And that's what you're going to be doing as well. So number one, the first thing I always like to start with is contemplate existence. Contemplate your existence. You can do that through talking out loud in front of a mirror, or just yourself, or in front of a camera. Whether, if you prefer to do it live, by all means go right ahead, or if you just want to do it for yourself, same thing. Journaling helps as well. Having a conversation. This is where, for me, what has really worked was having a coach to take me through this part, to take me through contemplating life and existence. So she would reflect back of what I said and what she was hearing me say, and it helped me to understand and hear myself in ways that I wouldn't have otherwise. And and just start putting, in a way, a plan together of what I wanted from myself and from my life, which really helped me to find my own meaning for my life, and within it, the purpose of life and existence of nature. So take time to contemplate the nature of existence, the nature of the universe, and consciousness itself. Some of you have experienced that as well. Reflect on the questions such as, who am I? Why am I? What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of my life? And if you're not sure what that is, then ask a little bit of a different question. If I could pick any purpose and meaning for my life, what would it be? That question, I have found myself an easier one to answer, because this is where it gets me and women that I work with to help them do this part of, you know, getting their shit together through life, for life in the business, is, you know, with the end in mind, is it's hard and sometimes almost impossible to answer a question, what is the purpose of my life? Because it's like, if I knew, I wouldn't be asking that question. But by tapping into our ability to explore life as a curious child, and when we ask if it could be any purpose, any meaning of life that I could give it, that I could choose, what would it be? And remembering that you can change it any time. This is not set in stone. And even things that are set in stone and engraved in stone, it can be erased, it can be rewritten. Right? So nothing is permanent. That just because this is what you have chosen for yourself to be the purpose and the meaning of your life does not mean it's going to be that forever. Unless you want it to be. So reflecting and checking in with this question once in a while can be profoundly healing. So the next, I have, how many things did 10. I like to do either 10 or 11 things to help you find meaning of life beyond the veil, and the purpose as well. So the second thing I would recommend or suggest doing is exploring or learning spiritual and philosophical teachings. There have been an enormous amount of teachers, guidance type of people, gurus, whatever name you want to give them. Learn from them. Listen to them. Let me pull up really quickly, because I was just going through my list of, here we are. So here are some of the things that you can explore that will help you, okay? The desire map. So it's like the desire map mapping. And I did not write down where it was, but you can Google it. You can find that desire map, desire mapping. Another great book that helped was 5 Love Languages. The Prosperous Coach. That one was a really great one. The Power of When definitely was amazing. Seed of the Soul. And just write these down, and whichever one calls to you, go and check it out. Think and Grow Rich was amazing. Absolutely amazing. As the Man Thinketh. That one was great. You were born to be rich. That one is by Bob Proctor. So Bob Proctor is great. Also, quantum jumping and quantum leaps were some of the YouTube teachers that I listened to, but I can't remember exactly their names. Donna Eden is a great teacher as well. You can help you to understand energy. Let me pull up another list that I have. I just added to it as well. Some of these people you already know. So Jay Shetty is great. Vishen Lakiani is great. Tony Robbins, everyone knows Tony Robbins. Gabby Bernstein. Abraham Hicks. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Shefali, she's amazing, especially those of you who have children, who will help you to, she's all about conscious parenting. Bruce Lipton is another really, really great one. And actually, Will Smith is amazing. Donna Eden, I already mentioned. Greg Braden is great. Deepak Chopra, you know him as well. And these are just a few names. Les Brown is another one. Just a few names to help you get started going into perhaps one of these rabbit holes that is calling you. So explore spiritual and philosophical teaching. Study various spiritual and philosophical teachings from different cultures, from different traditions. Explore concepts such as reincarnation, life after death. Netflix has quite a few amazing documentaries, and the afterlife, to gain different perspectives on existence and even karma itself. There's so many teachings. Go to YouTube, type these things in, these people's names in, see what comes up. Create a folder on YouTube of personal growth, personal development for you, or teachings, or whatever you want to call it. You can keep it private, you can keep it public. I keep mine private. They're more for me. Maybe one day I'll change them to be public. But the reason why I do that is because I don't want people to just go and take my list. I want people to go and create their own. And that's it, right? If you're interested in my list, ask me and I will send you the link to my folders that I have on YouTube for personal growth, personal development, and you can take things from there that resonate with you and put them in your own list. But I don't particularly make it public because I want everyone to create their own and go into these different rabbit holes that are calling you. Connect with nature. This one we talk about all the time. You will learn so much from nature that it is not only grounding, it's not only healing, but you get to, depending where you are on your spiritual awakening journey, you can learn so much from it. I can't think of any other way to describe it at this moment, but spending time in nature and observe the cycles of life and death within nature itself, you can learn from that. Allow the beauty and interconnectedness that we all have, and seeing and feeling oneness with ourselves. As one of the, it's called Surviving Death on Netflix. I watched it before and I'm rewatching it again because I'm a different person from when I watched it before, and I feel like this was the right time for me in my life again to rewatch and it helped me. But people who have experienced the other side, who have died and come back, there was one that stood out to me. That was the phrase of beauty comes of all things, specifically talking about a woman who was dead for 30 minutes, revived, and while she was dead, she was told by these beings that she was going to lose her son. And when she asked why, she was told, beauty comes of all things. And the other part that stood out to me was that when the person passed and they would see a tree and they would touch a leaf, that they became that leaf, they became that tree. And that it's this interconnectedness of everything and all beings of the natural world, to help you to inspire awe, to help you in the healing, and then help you to get back into that part of the child that's within you that would wonder and dream. It helps you to really understand the deeper part of existence. And the thing that we always talk about, which is number 4, practice mindfulness and meditation, especially doing that in nature. This is where you're, it's like when I was talking about dreaming, that when you're dreaming, your body is here, but you as the soul, which is not in your brain, it's everywhere in your body, it's your whole entire being, which is not limited to any specific part of your body, that it leaves and it goes into the dreamland. So when you're meditating, you have the ability, many refer to this as astral projection as well, or lucid dreaming, just to name 2 different ways of experiencing, life, and at the same time being in a different reality, different life, different existence, different realm. You can do this through meditation. You can do this through mindfulness practice. Now, mindfulness is just being mindful of yourself and in the moment and being present. And meditation is the actual practice of going within and hearing yourself and allowing the voices of everyone and the universe to come through you, to you, for you, and for others as well. So cultivate mindfulness and meditation practices to quiet the mind and connect with the present moment. That's the mindfulness, and meditation helps you to do that as well. Through mindfulness, you can become more aware of the interconnectedness of life and find meaning in simple experiences. As I was talking about in the beginning of this video, that if you are doing certain things in your life that you have to do and you struggle with feeling happiness and joy within them, this can help you. Finding meaning in the simple life experiences, which is of the mind. And what is of the mind becomes of the body. So if you can think it and you start to think of it and you start to believe it, or sometimes it starts as a belief or the inner knowing, and then it becomes more of a thought that you become aware of, then it becomes true, becomes reality. And many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. The more you focus on the problem, the more the problem will grow. But the more you focus on the solution, the more solutions will come, and the easier it becomes to solve whatever problem that you feel you have in your life as well. Number 5, reflect on personal values and beliefs. If you don't know what your values are, start there. If you don't know what your beliefs are, start there. Identify your values, identify your beliefs, and this is where I have done a video on this, but I'll do another one separate for this topic, and it's really understanding the difference between the values that are yours and the values that are someone else's that have been put on you and given you. There is a difference. One feels good, the other one doesn't. As you make in that list of values, feels good, feels authentic, feels like you, then it's yours. And if there's a little bit of resistance with it, then this is where you go into that rabbit hole and you explore and figure out why. Part of it might be you, and the other part might be just pressure from external, from society, from people in your life, or it's because it's somebody else's, or because you have to and there's no other way around it. Number 6, because you also want to make sure that before we go there, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing when it comes to your life, your purpose, your joy, your happiness, is that they're aligned with you and no one else. Otherwise, you're not living your life, you're living somebody else's life. So number 6 is seek meaningful connections. This one is massive. As I started talking earlier about negativity and gossip, and recognizing that, I was living my life with a scarcity mindset, that I don't want to lose any of the friends that I have. I ended up not having any friends, and having struggled through that, I recognized that that is how I was meant to really learn about who I am, why I am, and why all of those people were not meant to be in my life in the way that I was, fantasizing. This is where also, that's a whole different topic and a subject as well. The fantasy that we all create and live in is just, it's amazing, but at the same time, it can be dangerous. So, fantasizing about these friendships that I had, that I was having, that I was about to have, that in the end, it was nothing like it. It was just fantasy, and the reality was that I didn't even want these people in my life because they were not in alignment with who I was, that they were somehow trying to change me or use me and not accepting of me. They were just, everybody is in our life. Some people are in our life for a second, for a minute, for a season, or for a lifetime, right? Not everybody gets to stay forever. And we wouldn't want everyone to stay forever. And really what I was also learning is not attaching myself, not only to people, but to expectations or to my fantasies, which just happen. It's just like daydreaming, right? And thinking and ruminating and being hopeful and seeing how the future will play out and planning and things like that. That's really what fantasizing is. And that's why I say it's great, but at the same time, it can be quite dangerous, because then we can find ourselves feeling crushed. And this is one of the things that I continue to remind myself with, with Ramses, with our cat, watching him age for just over a year, where I already knew, I've always been in tune with animals, especially my animals, and I knew that he was going. And I was doing all I knew, how to not be too attached, but yet be attached. How not to give myself hope and yet be hopeful. It's a very fine line that we can all cross easily. To not go into this fantasy realm of he's going to be here forever when he's not. But much rather go into the fantasy realm of we will meet again, and really understanding life after death and how energy cannot be destroyed. It can just be transferred, and that energy will continue to go on, which is the soul, which we refer to as the soul. And it is forever present. And the meaning of we will meet again, but not yet. And the understanding of he's now home. And unfortunately, this is not the home. And coming to terms with this is not his home, where this is like the loss and the grief and letting go, which is a process, doesn't happen in a second, but coming to terms with this is not his home. It was temporarily, but now he is home. This is not my home either. This is temporarily, and I will go home one day. That's why spirituality is so, it's everything, and yet it feels so elusive. And my spiritual awakening started with, I don't belong here. This doesn't feel right. I feel like I belong somewhere else. That this is not where I'm meant to be. That this is not home. And that it's somewhere else, and yet it's everywhere. That's how my spiritual awakening really started. And I dove into that unconsciously. Through grief, through sorrow, through sadness, as I was depressed. And depression is really when we're tired of pretending to be someone we are not, of living a fake life and a fake reality, when we're tired of fantasizing about who we are, who we're trying to be, and that the body and the mind says, no more. I cannot do this anymore. I cannot live life like this anymore. I'm not meant to live life like this anymore. I'm meant to be me. And that is the rabbit hole of who is me, who am I, that I dove into. And I took numerous programs, numerous courses that brought me closer and closer and closer. And I continue to take different programs and courses and learn, and reading books and podcasts and YouTube videos, and having conversations with human beings, learning from their life, from their journeys, from their experiences, going through an intense iPad coach training program that taught me so much and allowed me, in my experience, to become the best coach that I could be. And I continue to become better and better and better with every new experience and with every new woman that I help, because I get to learn so much from every woman that I work with. As they learn, I learn. As I learn, they learn. It's an exchange of knowledge, wisdom, and journeys. And then, which brings me to the next point of serving others. That is what my soul's purpose is to help women like you, mothers, women, entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, career-driven women, or just stay-at-home moms, to get your shit together. That's my way of serving others, finding purpose and fulfillment in serving others and contributing to the well-being of our community. I want to leave this world in a better place than when I found it, by giving all I can and all I want to help everyone to better themselves. And by bettering themselves, they're bettering everybody else's life around them. By you focusing on, let's say, just your mental health, every single part of your life will become better. By you simply focusing on growing your business and bettering your business, every single part of your life will become better. But reality is that by you focusing on you and you working on yourself, that is really what helps to transform every single part of your life. Every single part of your life. So when I recognized that truth, I went into that rabbit hole and I worked on myself, and I continue to do that because this is who I am. And at this point, I will continue to be who I am by working on myself, because I know by doing that, not only will I be able to offer more to everyone, but every single part of my life improves drastically. So acts of kindness and compassion can bring a sense of meaning and connection to something greater than yourself. That you also approach life in a way of, it's not just about me, it's about everyone else as well. Understanding the oneness in you and in everyone, and that by you helping others, you're actually helping yourself. By me continuing to show up, after a really short break, I took one day off, which was Tuesday, and it wasn't even a full day. Some of you know, and I will forever be grateful for the Sacred Circle. Those of you who were there in the Sacred Circle, that was, everything is about support and the right community, and I could never express enough gratitude for that space and for all of you who were there, because it helped me to heal in ways that I didn't even know was possible, and yet I knew. And that's why I showed up, and that's why I was there, even though everything in me was screaming, run and hide and just isolate and not let anyone see your pain and suffering. But that is going the opposite of why I'm here, what I'm doing. And so understanding that it's just beyond me, and having that support system and people to go to is important. Next one is embrace growth and transformation. This is what we've been talking about the whole entire time, is that just understanding that life is a journey, and on this journey of life we're going to be growing, and we're going to be evolving, and we're going to experience transformation. And not all of it is going to feel good. It's sometimes going to feel painful. You can experience grief, sadness, sorrow, just to name a few. But those are the things that will help to define you. How you show up and how you do things will say more about you than you can know. So after having taken a day off, I went back to what fuels my soul. What is my purpose? I go back to living, because otherwise hiding and avoiding everything is not living. I've done that for years, and that was not life. And it's easy to go back there, and it's sometimes harder to stay a course and continue going and doing in the midst of loss and grief. And embrace challenges and setbacks as opportunities, because they are. You get to learn so much from them, and it helps you to evolve and become someone that you're meant to be. Number 9, live your life on your terms, authentically, unapologetically, authentically yourself. Learn to give little fucks, pardon my language, but not part of my language, to give a lot less fucks to a lot less, until you get to a point where you give no fucks. And that is where you will be free, and you will live as your true, authentic self, and your mental prison will no longer be a prison that traps you, but you will get to visit it once in a while. It's just there are no gates. It doesn't lock you in there, and there are no doors because they don't close. They're just walls. And the last one is practice gratitude, because through gratitude you will get to understand yourself, and you will strengthen the muscle of presence, resilience, and grit. You'll become stronger, and you will become present for the opportunities that present themselves in your life. And you will learn how to take advantage of those opportunities, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's involved, who's part of your life in one way, shape, or form. I know there's a lot of people who watch my videos, who listen to my podcasts. Some of you comment, some of you interact, while others just watch and observe. and learn. And that is part of growing, in a way of you do what feels right to you, and whenever you're ready to interact, which I always highly encourage, because by you expressing yourself, you get closer to your true authentic self. But if you're not ready yet, then that's okay. Your time will come. It will come, I promise you that. Learn to acknowledge the blessings and beauty that surround you, even in the midst of challenges, and that you can do that through gratitude. Sometimes even being grateful can still hurt, because it might feel a little bit tainted with sadness and sorrow, but it's still gratitude. I go through ups and downs, a roller coaster of gratitude, sadness, sorrow, gratitude, sadness, sorrow, with the loss of, to some people it's just a cat, but to me he was my companion. He was always there. He was always on my lap every time I would sit down, especially for a meal. Every time I would walk by where his treats were, he would meow, and his meow was so unique that I don't think I'll ever be able to hear. It's like a voice, right? You will never hear a voice like mine. You will never hear a voice like yours. Every voice that exists and ever has existed is unique. Yes, it might sound a little similar, but it's not the same. And so that's why the loss continues to be hard and challenging. But I continue to learn from it in more ways than just one. And it's constant learning and looking back and reflecting on certain things that helps me to make connections and see things for how they were in a different way than when we are in it. It's like when we're going through something, going through a challenging experience, that we don't see things of how they are until we're out of it and we're looking back and reflecting on it. And when we do that, that's when we really start to see and understand what everything was like. Let me quickly go through some comments. Rebecca says, my experience with death as a child made me live in fear of the vulnerability of life. It also made me realize that life goes on both on earth and afterlife. That's a lot to go through as a child. And in many ways I feel like many of us can relate. But here's the thing. I had a conversation with one of my friends yesterday, is that and I feel like she lost her dog 6 years ago, and I feel like she was grieving her loss of her dog still, and she was crying more than I was. And I gave her that space. This is now as a coach, that even though I'm grieving and I'm going through my thing, I'm able to still facilitate that safe space for others to continue their healing. So I let her know that it sounds like you still have not healed from yours. And one of the conversations that we had is that, you know, we're all able to empathize and understand and feel like I get what you're going through and have gone through. But until we go through this ourselves, we will not fully understand. And even if we do go through this type of an experience as you have, Rebecca, we will not be able to understand it in the way that you did, because only you can understand it in the way that you understand it and experience it in the way that you experience it. I would be able to understand and experience it in the way that I did, in the way of who I am. And this is like philosophical, like philosophy type of understanding. But we see and understand things as we are, not as they are. When we're hearing to someone and to what someone is sharing with us, we don't understand it in how they understand it. We understand it in how we understand it, and based on who we are, based on our own personal life. We can never truly understand how something is for someone and see through their eyes and through their thoughts, through their body and existence. We can only do it through our own existence, through our own lenses. And really quickly, let's connect it to all of those people that you wanted to be friends with, that I wanted to be friends with, that simply did not get me, did not see me, because the way that I would explain it is like I was on a different frequency level, and they were trying to see themselves there, and they couldn't, because they're seeing it through their own lens, through who they are. And as I started to recognize and pay attention of how each and every person was expressing themselves and seeing who they were telling me they were through their words, helped me to see that that is not who I wanted in my life. Because many people will pretend to be a good person and play a certain role and a certain character that they believe you need to that you would accept and allow them to be your friend. But through what they're saying, you actually get to see and hear who they are. And when you start to pay attention, you start to recognize that this facade that they're putting up, this character, this role that they're playing, is not the truth. It is not who they truly are, and it is not effective. So let go of them, and if they're meant to come back, they will come back after they have grown and evolved and are ready to be their true authentic self. And those of you who are your true authentic selves and continue to be on that journey, you will notice that the people that aren't, there's going to be you'll feel the shift, you feel the energy shift, and it won't feel right anymore. And then Laura said, I wish I could stay for this, but I'm driving. Sweet dreams, everyone. Sweet dreams to you too, Laura. I'm sure you're going to be rewatching this again, but that's okay. Watch it on your own terms when you're ready. And Rebecca says, I feel like it took my innocence away with that experience. Yeah, in many ways, it does take our innocence away when we experience death when we're young, and it really just shakes us, and in many different ways that only you can understand and only you can express of what that means and what that felt like to you. But it's definitely not an easy journey either. It wasn't meant to be, and you wouldn't be who you are without those experiences. Yes, and then Rebecca says, yes, I get you, because she was talking about what I just finished talking about, this, we see things as we are, not as they are, through our own filters, through our own lenses. Yes, I get you. Are all about, everything's, are all about perception, and we all have our own unique perspectives. Yeah, which is how we also get to see who we are through our lenses. And as we are translating the external world, if we don't like what we see, what we hear, what we understand, the thought pattern that comes after, then this is our opportunity to go within and reprogram ourselves to the who we would much rather prefer to be. Because every time we talk, every time we communicate, externally or internally, we express who we are or who we're being. And if it doesn't feel good, then that means we're not being authentic, we're not being true to ourselves. That we're just in that program, and it's an opportunity to get out of it, get out of that matrix, if you will. Pun intended. But other than that, that's all that I have for today's topic of Beyond the Veil. I realized I just wrote the title wrong. Funding meaning and purpose of life. Finding meaning and purpose in life, and of life, and for life. So thank you everybody. Thank you for being on here with me. I see Kimberly hopped on. Hey Kimberly, she says good afternoon ladies. Good afternoon to you as well. Feel free to rewatch this video, this podcast, and hopefully there are things that you can take away that will help you on your life journey. And feel free to share anything that comes through to you and everybody else who's going to be watching in the replay afterwards, to just share anything that comes through and any questions that I ask. Feel free to even write the question down, because I'm sure it will help other people to see the question and answer it as well. So other than that, thank you each and every one of you, and I hope the rest of your day goes well, and enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the week, as I know many will be celebrating and having their kids off. I know I will be. And until we see each other either next Thursday for another Get Your Shit Together weekly life guidance with myself, Yana Kasperczak, at 11:30-ish a.m. Eastern Time, or on Monday at 11:30 for a card reading, which is always quiet awakening, as I like to call it. And until we meet again, bye everybody. Thanks for being on here.